I'm incredibly honored to be here tonight. To be one of the poets opening for my good friend, Mai Der, a person I consider my poetry sister. Her collection is incredibly crafted and necessary. Please pick up a copy if you haven't already. Thank you, Mai Der, for your work, your presence, for continuing to be the blessing to poetry that you are and to our community here in Fresno. This first poem I'll read was published by a series Mai Der curated for the Hmong American poets, so thank you, Mai Der, for featuring it. It's titled Off the Blossom Trail, Fresno, Spring 2016. Every few years, miles of upturned fields skirt the city, and the rows of trees, peach, almond, and sometimes grapevine trunks unnaturally lift their roots toward sky. No one else comes to pay tribute to this but you. So you walk amongst the dying, the dead, the sky turning over another day. Stop at some knotted stump and think about when you'd last come here with your parents decades ago, posed with siblings for their camera, the voices of others around you spreading beyond the mist of petals. The dark is gowning the world, renders familiar shapes illegible. The stars contrast this threadbare night, the apogee of you from your car, but yet it doesn't feel quite right to make your return yet, so you continue straying, are left only with your ears to guide you. Crickets have arrived, and you can almost make out their monosyllabic words. Let go of any pretending to be at one with, to understand nature. Do as you'd done as a child. Let the voices of others around you spread beyond what you might never know. The valley walls so far off, nothing bounces back. I wrote this next poem after noticing a photo in the kitchen wall of my great uncle, Yitzim Bojo. Rest in peace, his soul. It's titled To the Photographer of the Fire at Nam Yau Refugee Camp, 1980. You've waited for everything to calm, no more people running, screaming, just these ramshackle shacks standing shoulder to shoulder, orange flames tiring of licking sky. Smoke fills half the firmament, and still no one comes to put the fire out. Who doesn't carry all they own when fleeing extinction? On this sunny afternoon, over half the camp burned to the ground, and your lesson echoes the one you learned as a boy. Trigger fingers must forget hesitation in their pressing, no matter the moment. The worst, too close to be behind or before. This third poem, I will read two more poems. This third poem I wrote to an imagined poet I'm sure any aspiring Hmong poet has stopped to think about often. To a Hmong poet of the old country. Too much popping. Hopefully down well. There must have been at least one of you who wrote using one of our rumored lost writing systems. Words you hoped one day I, Hmong poet of the 21st century, would read and find myself in. I imagine you wrote of the river's hushing, the moon's skirt of stars, your childhood's playing Thulu, spinning a balance that refused to topple. Come and tell me about the poems you think up while smashing sleeves of bamboo between rocks, flattening the pulp into the sheets you later write on, or fold into joss money burned for an elder's afterlife. How your poems must have lived full lives, first sung for birds and insects while you tilled your land, song stitching themselves into memory before being whisper spoken into writing by oil lamp. What poems did you write when you learned the Chinese sought to burn your words, when you saw the torches nearing? When you sank your books into the river, what clues were left to bridge your life with mine? The Zisai guides the dead to the after. Any road works both ways. So come forth, let my words breathe life into, celebrate you on this page. And this last poem I'll read is a poem to myself, but it was possible in part because of the conversations I've had about life and death with Paul Moore, who sadly could not be with us here today. His collection, Where the Torches Are Burning, was the first chapbook that I got to read from cover to cover, and it made me less lonely as an aspiring Hmong American poet, even before I'd ever met him. I'm thankful I've since gotten to meet him and am able to call him a very dear friend. Paul, I love you, and this one's for you too. Epistle to myself upon my death, or building the house of shadows. And it begins with an epigraph by Claudia Rankine from her book poem Citizen. You could build a world out of need, or you could hold everything black and see. You give back the lack. Let the rooster lead you back to all the places you home. Fresno, Portland, Laos, China. The afterlife is what you make. Past desert, past river, past village, past valley of thorny caterpillars. The afterlife is what you make. Arrive, ancestral, apologize for not staying. Explain you need to be where everyone is welcomed. The afterlife is what you make. Remember how living made you tired, blurred, shadowed, spent. Build a house, open doors, invite others. The afterlife is what you make. Thank you.